Hello there, beautiful people. Welcome back to Grovecraft. My name is Basti, and today I am gonna build something I've been wanting to do for a long time. A little while ago, I realized that Minecraft has some really underutilized recipes. And these recipes all involve this: cobblestone, diorite, and nether quartz. From cobblestone and nether quartz, you can of course make diorite. And from diorite and nether quartz, you can craft granite. And from cobblestone and diorite, you can craft andesite. And that of course gave me the thought, can you in theory have an automatic stone farm crafting regular stone, cobblestone, diorite, andesite, and granite? Let's find out. Now, the first problem that comes to mind is, of course, that we need quartz. And now there's a few ways that we can go about this. And now, the first and most simple way we could solve this problem is by simply mining for quartz. It is a pretty abundant resource in the nether, and with fortune, we can get tons of it. We can get so much quartz this way. But what if there was a more elegant solution? And so another solution could be, let's say you manage to trap and capture one of these guys, a piglin. Then you could, with some persistence and time, manage to barter with these guys to get quartz. And that's why earlier in the season, I built this. This monstrous machine right here is a gold and bartering farm. And before you get on my case about it, it's not very efficient, no. So, it works. It didn't pan out quite the way I wanted it to, but, you know, it still works. And in here, we of course get the quartz that we need. And with that, our first and main obstacle is solved. We can automatically get quartz. But there's another issue, and one that needs some testing. Now for this little test, I wanted to come out somewhere a little bit more private, so I thought this area should do it. So what I want to know is, how well does redstone hold up to ender pearl chunk loading? This is gonna be very important later, so let's run a little experiment. First, I'm gonna need a nether portal. There we go. Doesn't really matter where that leads. I'm then gonna need some rails coming out this way. One detector rail, a little bit of redstone, and some TNT. 5 should do. But for now, let's leave it like this. Now, if I were to send this minecart through from the other side, nothing should happen, because there's nothing loading anything here right now. So for that, we need a chunk loader, an ender pearl chunk loader. So let's make one of those. And I bet you all know how to make one of those. It's very easy. You just dig down a bunch of blocks, 9 blocks usually, and then you would just place some soul sand. All right, once you got that done, you place some water all the way at the top here. There we go. Then at the bottom, we get some kelp, some bone meal. We bone meal it until we see no more particles, which is now. Hit it, break it, and up we go. Now let's toss an ender pearl down there. Plop. And there we go. This area should now be chunk loaded. Alright people, we're just about ready to run this experiment. So, what I need to do now is hook up this TNT, go through the nether and send through a minecart. So, what we're hoping to happen is that the minecart should just go along the rail through the nether portal, on top of this rail, and hit that and blow the TNT up. How will we know that this worked? Well, I suppose if there's damage out here, then we did it. Right? Ow! You jerk! Well, I'm not gonna warn you about the TNT coming. Yeah, jerk. Alright, let's go into the nether and test this out. Alright, so here's my setup. I suppose let's test it out. Alright, 3, 2, 1, lift off! Ow! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Ah! Okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay. Yes. Well, you know, it worked. Maybe I should have foreseen the fact that when the TNT exploded, it would blow the ender pearl, causing me to come back here and getting exploded. But you know, no harm, no foul. So, awesome. That works. That's so cool. Okay, we've got all the components now, I think. All the questions I have are for now answered. We can now automate quartz production, and we know that the chunk loading will work. So, people, I think we got our answers. Now I just need to figure out how to build this thing. Now, there's a lot of systems that's gonna go into this farm. Once again, I'm gonna say there are gonna be better and easier ways to do this than what I'm gonna do, but I wanna figure this out, so please bear with me. I have one question that I don't exactly know how to do yet, and that is how to actually craft the stone. And so, welcome to my redstone testing world. Now, I come here because if we were to use the normal, standard way I usually do an autocrafter, like this, we would run into some issues. You see, I now have some dye right in there, but if I were to load this here with cobblestone, it starts crafting a whole bunch of andesite until it stops. And now, we're gonna run into the issue that the cobblestone is gonna fill both slots. And this is a problem because now the only way to get it out of there is for me to go pick it out manually. And we're looking for automatic. So I need to come up with something new. Ah, fun times. And I might have an idea. Now, the problem with this system right here is that we're only comparing this crafter. So the comparator is checking whether there is things in both of these slots. And if there's things in both slots, it will craft. Now, that's not gonna work for us because now there's 2 things in that slot. And there's no real check to let things in. So, what I'm thinking we could do is, what if instead of this 1 input system like this, we use 2? Yeah? What then we could do is check these inputs, whether there's stuff in there. So if there is stuff in both of these inputs, then we can craft. I think that just might work. So let me do some thinking and I'll show you a little bit of a concept. Alright, people, I've gotten a bit carried away, and I've built, the thing. Well, I've certainly built a thing. I mean, this thing looks like an evil duck of some kind. It's got some horns, it's got a tail feather back there. I don't know, this looks menacing. Holy. Anyways, the way this machine works is pretty simple. It simply checks whether these 2 inputs have stuff in them. Currently, they do not. And if there is stuff in both of these, then this item right in these hoppers is able to travel freely in between these hoppers. That generates a signal, and this signal is sent back to the auto crafter, crafting a bunch of things. So, the important thing about this version is that it has to be preloaded like this. So I have to have it full like this for it to work. But once you do, it will always work, I think. So, now, to test this thing, all I have to do is just put some cobblestone in there, and I'll put some diorite in here. And, what? It's working! Look at that! Ooh. Oh, it's working good too. Like, hold on, let's see. If we check this crafter, yes, we seem to be refilling at a decent rate. So we shouldn't be running out, and we are going through it. So, the final and important test here is, do we run out of material? When this thing stops crafting, we should still have 64 of each in the crafter. That way we know that this works. Please, please, please. Okay, we seem to be running out of cobblestone, and it stopped. And there's 64 of each. Okay, this thing is gonna work nicely. Alright, people, I've got some confidence. I feel like I could go into this project. And so how about I meet you back in the Grovecraft world, and we'll go find my little industrial island where I'm going to build this thing. Welcome back to Grovecraft, everybody. Now, I want to preface that the redstone building clips you just saw was a while ago. I've been working on this project for a long time. I've released videos in between working on this project. That's how long it's been taking. It's crazy. It's probably gonna take longer. But either which way, this is gonna happen now. And I do think I've come up with a system to do everything I need. And so, without further ado, I present to you my stone farm. Ta-da! Wow, isn't she magnificent? Okay, so it's a long time later than the last clip you just watched. As you can tell by the massive stone farm being here. Yeah, this is the working stone farm. Working. Absolutely, I mean, it is working. It is producing stone like nobody's business. It is producing, a lot. It is producing a lot of stone, in fact. The only issue is it's just cobblestone. It's just producing a whole bunch of cobblestone right now, unfortunately. There was some kinks. Okay, admittedly, there was some kinks. So yeah, I built this thing and it's got some issues. First of all, welcome to the control room. This is where you control everything in the farm. So we can turn on the cobblestone generator. We can turn on and off this simple kelp farm right here. We can turn on and off the moss farm. Yes, there's a moss farm involved in this as well. Yeah, there's a lot of things here. So maybe I should start from the beginning. When I first designed this thing, I thought this kelp farm right here was gonna supply all the fuel for all of these furnaces right here. Many of you can probably already tell me that that's not gonna work. That's way too little kelp. This thing's too small. But I had a secret plan, you see. I was gonna supply this thing with bone meal from a moss farm. Yeah, and now you're getting it. And unfortunately, this didn't work. It was not at all as fast as I'd hoped it would be. You know, mostly it was just clicking like that. But I already built the thing, so you know what to do. So instead of tearing down this wall back here, I built another kelp farm back there with a flying machine. This one's slightly larger. This one is producing quite a bit of fuel. Unfortunately, I've also made a boo-boo right here. This is the kelp refinery. This machine's job is to take the kelp coming through here and make it into fuel, which should fuel both the kelp refinery itself and the furnaces up there. This kind of works, but there is some redstone kinks that needs to be worked out here. There's a lot more fuel coming through this side than this side. Why that is, I couldn't tell you, but I'm gonna do some research and see if I can find out why. This next amazing system is, of course, the stone generator. And this stone generator down there is a design based on a bunch of moss farms I built throughout my time playing Minecraft. And this TNT duper, I've seen it a gazillion times, I built it a few times, and so I just built it off of memory. So no, that's not my design. But everything connecting it together is mine. And I have to say, this system is actually working pretty dang good. But unfortunately, things get a little bit worse when we come down here, because this is all my own redstone. And this is the heart of the machine. This is the system that takes all the cobblestone, distributes it to all the auto crafters you watched me build in my creative world a bit earlier, and then auto crafts it all and sends it away. Unfortunately, there were some teething issues with this and I needed to adjust some timings, and as you can see, this looks a little different than it did earlier. I would just say, don't worry about it. I've driven myself mad with this redstone back here, and I don't intend to make you mad either. So, you know what? Let's just say it works, because it kind of does. It does work. We'll just leave it at that. Last part of this wondrous machine is this right here. This is the minecart track that leads all the way from down there in to the nether. So this is the plan. I sit in my nether gold farm that accumulates quartz, and the quartz gets sent through here on this minecart track, down in there, gets loaded into this farm and into this system right here. And that works. That works gloriously well. Until you try to AFK it for a bit. When I came back from AFKing this farm, we had a little bit of an infestation on our hands. Yes, this place was swamped with zombie piglins. And they very, very quickly stopped the flow of quartz coming through here. So the minecart was just sitting right here doing nothing, which is bad. And so, as you clearly hear, there's a few issues that needs to be worked out. Number one issue would be this thing produces way too much cobblestone. When I came back from AFKing this thing overnight, this entire thing was filled with cobblestone, which is why I now have, what is this, 14 double chests of cobblestone? Yeah, because it's 6, 6, and then these two. Yeah, 14 full double chests of cobblestone, which is a bit more than I need to get out of this. So what I want is some kind of system to detect when this thing is starting to get full of cobblestone and then automatically shut down the cobblestone generator. And to effectively do that, I might need some help from a friend. Splat. And now we wait. There you are, little guy. Badoot. Okay, so looking back here, this furthest one out is the cobblestone line. So, sorry, I'm not used to this happy gas. So, if we were to put a block like that right there, and we can compare it to from this top one, hopefully, that should be good enough. So, from this comparator, I'm checking if there is stuff in here. If there is, it's sending a signal strength out here. If that signal strength is greater than 2, signifying that there's a buildup of things in that hopper, it will send a signal out through here, up to this trapdoor. This trapdoor will then flip, changing the state of this whole row of scaffolding right here. This observer will notice that change in power and send a signal out to here where we have a similar system. And that will in turn turn off the farm. So now we should have an overflow protection system. I will probably make more. I'll probably make more changes to this as we go, because I'm probably gonna do something like making a little shulker loader for cobblestone down here, so that, you know, we could just load up on shulkers of cobblestone while we're at it. But that should suffice for the first solution to our redstone issues. Next, we're gonna have to do something about those pig guys, because that's honestly the biggest threat to this whole machine when AFKing it, and I want this to be AFKable. So, for the issue of the pigmen spawning in this portal right here and just standing aloofing around here, I think I have a pretty simple solution for that. All we do, we build this out a little bit right here, make a little platform, and then at the end of this, we'll put some trap doors and make this into a gold farm. Yeah, we can have a gold farm here as well, why not? Make some extra gold. Our gold farm out in the nether is not actually producing any, because it's all going to the bartering. So, you know what? We might as well have a gold farm here. Alright, let me get some blocks. I'm gonna have to go to Shell and buy some more turtle eggs as well. Alright then, something like this should just about do it. If we take our little free cam here, I can show you that all the setup is just some turtle eggs back here to hopefully attract all the pig guys who comes through here, and they'll just wander towards the turtle egg because they hate those, and they'll fall into this hole right here. There's just a bunch of hoppers. There's a killing chamber. I'll just stand there and whack them, because we don't really need to kill them immediately. The thing is, all we have to do is make sure that they're not in there. So long as they're not in this portal blocking the minecart, that's good enough for me. And with that, we've fixed most of the issues that I can see coming up for AFKing this farm, so we should be able to give it another attempt. So, why don't we go back inside the control room and tidy up a little bit, and then we can start it up and see how this puppy runs. Welcome back to the control room, people. I've done some tidying up. These chests are now empty, so there's no diorite, granite on either side, no stone. I think we're ready to give this another test run. Okay, so let's turn everything on. First off, we can turn on the moss farm. The moss farm is right here. We can make sure that it's producing bone meal, And we're sending it to the kelp farm, which is that one. And bone meal boost is on. There we go. It's incredibly loud. Luckily, we don't stand here to AFK. Now, the last step is to turn on the cobblestone generator. And with that, everything should be running. We can see the TNT dropping right here. Stands on that platform for a scarily long time. And then explodes the stone. Perfect. The moss farm's running back here in the background. The kelp farm is going. Seems to have just done a load of kelp. And everything seems operational. And so now we go to the AFK spot. The AFK spot for this farm is, of course, in the nether. Because I have a bunch of chunk loaders in the overworld, that farm can stay loaded while we're in here. And that minecart going through the portal right now is the way we're sending our beautiful quartz down to the farm. Let me just stand here and AFK for a couple of hours. I need to go to work. And when I come back, let's check what this farm has accomplished. Okay, people. I've done some AFKing and we're back. Also, while I was AFK, the farm grew a shulker loader. Look at that. Wow. Just out of nowhere. It wasn't like I came in and built it because I felt like it really needed it. Nope. It just grew in there. That's what happened. That's canonically true now. Anyways, that's working fine. We already have 1 shulker box of stone and 5 shulker boxes of cobblestone. The distribution is still like a little bit uneven, like very, but it's fine. It's fine, people. Coming in here, we can now have a little sneaky peek at what this thing has produced. Mind you, it is still very much smelting stone as we speak, but in here, we now have a bunch of cactus, because there's a cactus farm up there. Don't ask me why, I just built one in there, because I don't know. I don't even need cactus for anything, but I have one now. Maybe to spite Shell, because Shell sells them. I don't know. We'll never find out, I guess. But here's the yield. You see, cobblestone, full. Normal stone, not quite full. We're most certainly getting there. And then, of course, there's these 3. We got about a single chest of each of those. But, you know, I mean, it is AFKable, and that is like 1 session of AFKing. So, not too bad. I won't be selling shulkers and shulkers of these materials, but, you know, I'll be selling enough. It'll be fine. We'll be able to sell them per stack. So that'll be fine. We'll get some diamonds finally. That'll be cool. But cobblestone and possibly stone, we could definitely sell by the shulker. Yeah, that won't be too much of an issue. Anyways, there's been some other changes that I've done. Like, I may or may not have completely redesigned the kelp farm so that it actually produces kelp now at an alarming rate. In fact, this thing is now always full of fuel. I found a solution to this problem too, guys, while I was just fluffing around. I just realized that there cannot be an uneven distribution if both of these are constantly full. So, you know, more. We just did more, and now it works. Now it works. You know, that's what matters. It now works. Sure. I mean, other than that, this thing is basically untouched from when I first built it. So yeah, new shulker loader, new kelp farm, better kelp refinery settings. Yeah, and that's about it. I now have an automatic stone farm, producing stone, cobblestone, diorite, andesite, and granite. So yeah, I guess we can make an automatic one of those, and you can even make it a lot better than this. I might be pretty decent at redstone, but I'm far from good at it. So people who actually are good at redstone and farms and stuff, I would love to see a more compact and better version of this. It's not even a hard challenge. I mean, most people could probably do it. So, you know, if you do, join my Discord and show me, because I would love to see it. That would be awesome. Anyways, people, this project has now ruined my brain, and I am now tired. Very tired. I still suffer from illusions of grandeur, where I thought I would be able to smash this thing out in a week. Yeah. No. Nope, 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 nope. Not even close. Not even a little close. No. No, it's been several weeks. Even when I thought now that the project would be ready, it took me, well, since my last episode until this one comes out is basically the time it took me to make this. So yeah, a while. Turns out redstone is hard, especially when you're doing stuff you've never done before. Wow, who could have thought? Anyways, people, it's lovely as always having you here, and I love you all, and I hope to see you in another video very soon. Hopefully, because I won't be doing anything like this next time. But I have another project that's gonna be really awesome. We are going to revolutionize travel on the Grovecraft server. So I hope you stick around for that. Subscribe if you haven't. I hope you watch till the end of the video, because that helps me out a lot. If you can see a little bit of a like button, press that. And if you see the hype button, I recommend you press that too, because that would help me out greatly. Thank you for supporting us smaller YouTubers out there. And love you all. Have a great day, morning, night, or whatever it is, wherever you are. Stay awesome out there, my friends, and until the next time, bye! Impressive.